Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go.
Glad you hearing everything again. All right, let's get this started. So here we are again, Buckeye friend. Got another Gen Con recap screen, but this time we got a special guest. The current Gen Con champ. I think you were the Gen Con runner up before. You actually are you considered like the grandfather of incursion since you incurred the first MC? I mean, is
I
that
was, yeah, I was the first incursion. Was Doctor Doom? I won that first event.
right? And you got
Yeah,
Doctor Doom, so that was the first card incurred because we knew the winning MC would get incurred. So, but let me continue on with the introduction. But I mean, multiple regional wins. Like I said, run up at Gen Con. Kingpin Master. I mean, online events, part of the big three. Build a better. I mean, not build a better. It's build a better. Your name of the team, right?
yeah. Build
Okay.
Better's was the YouTube channel, and then Build It
Okay.
Club's like the official team name, I guess.
Okay. Well, after all that talking, if y'all haven't noticed yet, I'm here with John Phillips. How you doing today?
Good. No one can hear me this time.
Okay. Hopefully they can hear you. You guys need to
Hopefully.
play this
Uh,
over the outro. I can never hear you guys. Oh, you guys need to not play. Is the outro over? Oh no. The outro should be over with now. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You guys need. Oh, they talking about over the outro. Okay. Okay. But here we are. Mr. Phillip. glad to have you. I know this is your second recap video, but the first one nobody got to hear you.
That's so true. Yeah. So it's pretty funny. Like that was like Bert wanted to do a New York minute, and we were like, okay, cool. We were planning on it. We had like a time that everyone could show up and get together. And I'm driving home from work, and Bert like calls me, and he's like, "Hey man, uh, because he does his New York minute on Spotify, and they changed something that like you can no longer record like in a call, like the way that you used to be able to on that platform." So he's like, I don't know what to do. One of you guys are gonna have to record it, blah blah blah. So I'm like, I got home, took like 10 minutes, pulled up one of my old things because I haven't recorded in forever, and set everything up. It looked like voices were going because they were. It was the audio I could hear was all coming through, but I didn't double check my mic, and so yeah, everyone got like the what people were saying that like my content was behind the paywall, which is ironic and hilarious because I hate paywalls. So
Check that out. So but here we are. So yeah, we got a lot of things I want to cover with you. I'm pretty sure you want to recap some of the matches and stuff. Like I said, I could bring up the list and stuff, but we'll do a quick rundown. I don't know if you're gonna, like I said, try to do that over again so people can actually hear you, or that's just their loss. They just got a dream.
uh, honestly, I can't remember everything I talked about. I remember some of it, so we can cover. We'll just cover it like it never happened, and
Okay.
we'll see what comes
All right.
out.
All right. So the first question I have, this is my personal question. If you had an option between the money or the belt, which one would you have took?
Oh, if I had to pick one,
Yes.
oh Lord, uh, man, that's a tough call. I probably would have to go with the money because I'm in a phase of my life right now where I'm like decluttering the house and I'm like trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Like I'll never get rid of the belt,
Okay,
but
I was just about to say, well, if you need help decluttering that belt, I could definitely assist you with that.
yeah. Luckily, I didn't have to choose,
Right,
but like if it
right.
was like you can have this or this, I would have probably taken the money and just like the playmat because I can hang that. I'm trying to find a way to hang the belt up, or find like a display case or something for it. I want to put it up somewhere, but I just don't know where or how I'm going to do that quite yet. So
Okay, yeah, like I said, I know you a wrestling fan. Well, at least I know you were that wrestling match. Even one of your friends caught like John Cena hat one time
yeah,
during this season.
yeah, my brother caught John Cena's hat this year at WrestleMania. Yeah, I've gone to WrestleMania. I think I've been there like 7 times now. I'm a pretty big wrestling fan.
Okay,
I've been to a few AEW shows and quite a bit of WWE shows. So
okay,
been
yeah. So
watching that
so I figured
all
the
my
belt.
life.
Yeah, I figured the belt meant a little more. That's why I wanted to start off with that question.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess Gen Con. So I think you been to every Gen Con? I mean, played in every Gen Con event that since the first is
Oh,
two.
for two PCG,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, okay,
So
yeah,
the first ever one, I topped 8 with Thanos. And then, like, for a while there was a pattern where I didn't top 8 the second year.
okay.
The third year, I topped 4 with Kingpin. And then I didn't top 8. And then that was the year I played Mystique. And then I got second with Mimic. And then I didn't top 8. And then last year,
Wasn't it
I
wasn't it Emma
made top
Frost?
8.
Wasn't it Emma Frost you got second with?
Emma Frost was my level 1 for Mimic.
Okay, it was your level one. Got you. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember that game because obviously with me, I've been to Chubb's the final table the last few years, and I can remember sitting there like, what did your deck do? Because obviously I have been watching your deck throughout the day. I'm like, how in the hell he make it to the finals? I mean, his deck did nothing. It's just like, and I'm dead. Let's go to
Yeah.
game two, and I'm dead. Thanks for playing. Wait, what? That's
That was fun, yes. Yeah, because she has Genius printed on level 1, so I was
right.
like utilizing that.
Yeah, no. I understood. Like I said, I think I talked to you and I understood it. But it was like just watching, like, oh man, I get to see John Phil. You know, because I mean, even though I'm a judge, I try, hide my emotion, which I think I do a good job of. But I do, like to see different players show there because you get to see things. Because
Right.
and I think, to be honest, I don't think I have played against you much, if ever.
I do know we've at least played twice.
Okay.
I don't know. I've told this story a few times. I don't know if I've ever told it on stream. I've told it to different people because it's when I first met you was Origins,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
year of Thorgens, and you
Yeah.
were playing Sister Grimm.
Yes.
And you had just started playing, and like we played a game. I can't remember if we played for fun or if we played it like at a side event.
Okay.
And then like we talked about afterwards. We talked about your deck a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, because you could like add Venom because like the caffeine injection, he doesn't lose the counters of all this stuff. And then we played again the next day. It might have been like another side of. I can't remember like what it was, but then like. You had done all those changes, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna beat me!" But oh my god, I still have to put in here. It was so funny.
Okay, that that makes sense. Like I said, Oryx, I think that's the first year I got into first. It's like I didn't play at no local store. I played with my wife and my son at that point. We were playing a bunch of 3-player game.
Yeah.
And that's our second year going to Oregon. Like, oh, Upper Deck got a pass. You could play their game all day as long as you got their pass. So.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was such a good deal. Man. That was such great value. I made so much money off of that.
Winning games and stuff. Like, if you had, like, you could win a box of, like, legendary, like, Encounter Predator. Like, so we came with a bunch of kids. So they're like, if we get 3 players, whoever win the game get to win that actual game of $60. Yeah. So me and my wife would sit down, and then we call one of the kids, like, hey, get over here, play with us. We'll pay for you, and then one of us will have to win. And we I think that.
I think I left that year with like a Predators battle box or like legendary box. I've left with like 3 versus boxes, like 2 copies of Dungeon Draft. I was just like, oh yeah, that was a good value.
Yeah, no. So okay, so that like I said, obviously I didn't know people back then because that's the same way. Like I said, I met Sean because I went to dating, and everybody's for me. Oh, you the guy who plays Sister Grimm? Like that how because that was the deck I played. I think that whole weekend.
Yeah.
Try and get the hang of it and stuff. So but yeah, you one of the people like I think you one of the creative death builders. I mean, it seems a lot of people like have like a rhythm and rhyme, like people like to stay on curve and stuff. But you one of the like out the box deck builders. It feels like personally, I think you one of the best deck builders. I mean, if I had to, if I was on with Vern and Mitch, doing my rankings, I mean, I think after Small Wheel, you'd be my number 2. I would say that out loud. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, and this is like every game I play. Right. The decks that are like just like bare bones strong are cool, but I want my decks to do something fun or interesting, and so I've come up with some wacky stuff for like every game I play, and I just like to play the off the wall different stuff. So.
Right, and then. And one more thing before we get to Gen Con, because I said we went way off tangent with the Gen Con recap. But I know I used to watch your YouTube channel, that build. I used to love watching that when deck build fast.
The deck's so quick. Yeah,
because I know you would try and get that going again. Couldn't get enough people out. I was really excited. I thought I was gonna be able to get into it. I know I did down in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
we had that side of it, but
it's a super fun concept. It's unfortunately we just don't have the group local here anymore to do it, but man, yeah, that would be a fun thing to do. Like if ever the game stops being like supported, like to meet up at like Gen Con or wherever, Origins or whatever, people are going to be there and like set up like a deck built quick thing, because then I don't actually have to play. I just have to come up with a cool format idea.
Right. All right, so let's talk about Gen Con. So your lead up to Gen Con, you've kind of been taking a break from Verse. Like you haven't been really as active as you normally was, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I took a break starting around midwinter. Honestly, it was a little bit before midwinter that I had started, but I like kind of made it public that I was about around midwinter, and then I played very, very, very little. Before Gen Con, I probably played 20 or so games with Bert leading up to Gen Con, just because I was still kind of in break mode, and I was just like, okay, I'll just play Molecule Man. I don't care if he's good or bad. I'll just play him, and it'll be fine. And then he was beating the snot out of me with the Kingpin deck, and then with a couple like the Sin 6 deck, I actually had a pretty good matchup against. So I was like, okay, this is fine, like whatever. And then I started playing day one of the event, and like my competitive side kind of kicked in because anyone who doesn't know me like really well, like I'm not like I'm super competitive and like I love like competing. And I like to try to push myself to like do as well as I can. Uh, but and so like that competitive side just like that switch flipped on me, and I was like halfway through day one, and I was like still in contention, but I was like, this deck's not going to win the event, and I wasn't having as much fun with it as I thought I was going to have with it. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to quit for the day and regather my thoughts and see if anyone brought their collection with it.
When did you end up dropping on day one? Can you have made? First of all, do you feel you could maybe made top eight if you would have finished out day one?
Yeah, because we only
Okay,
had, I think we had 2 rounds left, and if I
right.
would have won both of them, I would have made top eight.
Okay. So yeah,
Uh,
because I would ask people like if a deck you're not feeling good about, do you move, do you just drop in, take a, try to take your chances in day two, or do you just like
yeah,
it depends what your reason for going Gen Con. Are you just trying to make top eight? Do you want to just be there, or are you trying to win it all? So that would probably play a role into your decisions.
right. So I went there initially. I was like going in there just to play to just see everyone, right? And then once you start playing like that, I was like, man, now I'm kind of in like tournament mode now. I want to do well,
So so
and
so
so
so we go run through your matchups real quick. Like I said, we don't need to talk about the game, but gonna run through your matchups
sure.
real quick. So I got it up on the screen. So round one, you had Burt, which I'm pretty sure that wasn't where you wanted to start at.
No, I absolutely dreaded having to play him round one, and like I said, Molecule Man was like my version of Molecule Man was
Right.
super favored against him. So, um, yeah.
So let me
Uh,
let me ask, because I didn't get really look at your deck list for this molecule, man. Was it similar to the Midwinter build, or did it have a few variants in it?
it was very different than. Well,
Okay.
I wouldn't say like very different.
Right.
Like I cut all of the Ultrons.
Okay.
I added Doorman,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I upped the number of Hyperstorms.
Okay.
And I was playing. I was playing. So the main core of the deck was like Pixie into Hyperstorm and
Okay.
Doorman,
Okay.
and so I had a like I think I had two of a Thanos and one of Sam Captain America from the Shield team
Right.
because he has Inspire.
Right.
So what I was doing was I would use Hyperstorm and Doorman to remove each other from the game
Mhm.
like repeatedly because like they come
Right.
back in and they haven't
Right.
used the power yet, so they keep kicking each other out.
Right.
So I can become infinitely big, and then Hyperstorm can make infinite attacks because he keeps coming back in ready.
Right.
And then I was using Thanos to do an extra wound for every green I had because I'd keep kicking Hyperstorm out of play and back into play, and then I would use the green and then use the blue
So.
uh, to kick Doorman. So it was like I played a game with Vern where he was playing Hangman Page, and I did 5 wounds to him in one turn.
So
So
I just wanted to note. So like I said, for the people listening, I know they talk about it in the Discord, but Thanos was actually an incur card. I don't know if you read about that on the Discord or not.
I someone said something to me about that, but
So
I couldn't remember, and so like my prep going into it, I just pulled up
right.
the official incursion list off of the internet,
C-
off of the Upper Deck OP site, and it didn't have it on
Oh
there.
no, and that absolutely correct. So the thing was, it got incurred in Ohio. So like
Oh,
when they put it in the blog for the Ohio incursion, it showed there, but they didn't put it on the official list. And of course
oh wow.
that what me and Chad was going by, because obviously Chad, you think you step away from the game. Chad, I don't think been around the game much except to show up for the tournaments. So that's all
Right.
we had to go off of. So it incurred but not incurred at the same time. I guess he was like in the middle.
It was like Shadow Band.
Right. But
That's
I just
crazy.
want to point that out to the listeners, since you were bringing up the Thanos part. Like, don't try this in the next incursion. You will be disappointed.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
go ahead.
plus the way they do the incursion list
Yeah,
because of the conflicting IPs and
yeah.
like it can't be easy to keep track of.
Right.
So
Like so one time, so normally I do like a PowerPoint where I get all the cars, pictures, and I have the picture thing. And so
Hmm.
so I would updating it, and then like I said, I would count their cards and I would count my cards. And I after somebody said that, I realized like no wonder when I count my cards, like why I got 59 or whatever number was, why I got 59, their list got 58. So
Oh,
I'm going back and forth like, oh the illustrated Thanos, why I got him in the picture of the card, but he's not on the list. I didn't think much more of it. Like I said, the judge, like I said, I test with, like I said, the Buckeye people and other people want to test, but I don't really get super into it because I hate building a really good deck and not being able to play it. It just sucks.
absolutely.
So, but yeah, I now look back like, oh yeah, that definitely did miss that.
Yeah.
So, just go through round. So you play Burt round one, round two. You got. I was going through the list now. You played Patrick, who was on Valkyrie.
Yeah, I think Patrick killed me on like turn 3
Okay,
because the Valkyrie like levels up super fast,
right,
and it's an atrocious matchup from
right,
Aquaman
right.
anyway.
And
So.
then you played Vern round three, which is
Yeah, and then
Patrick.
I did the 5 wounds to him in one turn.
Okay, and then you played Smallwood, another big
Yeah,
three member. So
another matchup I didn't want to play. That
right,
was a super tight game. It came down to like last wound actually. I think he got me on that one if I remember right.
okay, and then I'm trying to see if you're still on the list. I think
And
yeah,
then I should have
yeah
one
you
more I
lost to
played.
yeah you lost to Hector, so he's another
Yeah,
Valkyrie
I
player.
died. I died on turn 2 against Hector, I believe.
Okay, and then I'm assuming you dropped after that, so the last two would have been
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I was
We
like, I'm not having fun anymore. Like the Smallwood game was fine. It's like Valkyrie's just so toxic and not
no
very well
no
designed,
I know
especially with the He Who Remains. But
right
I mean, that's part of the incursion thing, right? And I was
right.
like, that's when I looked around the room. I go, man, there's no way this deck's winning the event, even if I slip in the top 8. Like, what's the point?
So
Like,
before we start talking about your kingpin list and your day two, let's go ahead and bring up what like I said, I seen some chatter again on the Discord about and I know I talked to even Chad about this. What's your thoughts about the players from day one and players from day two? Like, is there a advantage? Should it been if you
oh, absolutely.
okay, right? So if you had like say a crystal ball had control, what would you say would be the best? If they still keeping the 2 day, what do you think would be the best approach?
That's a hard thing
Okay,
to decipher. Like, I listened when uh you guys were doing the recap, and
yeah,
I can't remember who
Tevin,
said it before
Tevin,
about. Okay, yeah, he was the one who was like, you submit 2 deck lists and you can
right,
play whichever ones you want, but you can only play those 2 lists.
right,
I think that would be interesting because, like, okay, you could stay on this list or you could change list if you want. You do have a backup
so
list. I think that's probably the most reasonable. But like you mentioned, like, what if someone can't show up day one, whatever, right?
right,
And it's like, yeah, that does suck. Or like, because in my opinion, last year,
yeah,
not before. Before we start talking about this year, let's talk about last year.
yeah,
I
correct,
think I felt last year was super advantage to day 2 because
right, yeah,
you get a feel for the room. You get this. You by looking at people's decks day 1, you can tell what they found in testing and what they missed in testing.
right, right.
Um,
But I think
and
so the first year, so we'll say the first year and the second year, we just only talking about the two top 16. With this been the only Gen Con we had a top 16. So the first year, at least you had to play through day two to get to a day one player.
right, and so this year was even more advantage
Right, yeah, because you
because of how they did the seedings, which was bananas. Because like when I dropped, I didn't know any of this. Right,
right no
day 1, I was like, day 2 stronger. It's whatever. I don't think this deck can win the event, and this is the winning this event is the only thing in this game I haven't done yet.
right
So I'm going to try to do it. Uh, and then the next day, like when we did our players meeting, Chad explained how seedings were going to work,
yeah
and I was like, holy crap, because I was second seed day 2.
right
So I was 4th seed overall.
okay right yeah so
Because they were like day 1 first seed, then day 2 first seed, day 1 second seed,
right
day 2 second seed, right?
so I
And like it kept going in that order.
right I think you will play Tevin if it because I would telling people like during day two I was talking to some of the Apex player that won on day one. And
Hmm.
I'm like, man, y'all start checking, y'all start trying to check your matchup for the next day, because I'm thinking of like the year before.
Right.
So I'm like, they like no, because I didn't go to the first player meeting.
Yeah, well, I didn't even. He might have said in the first player
Right,
meeting, but I didn't
right,
register for me. It registered for me when he mentioned it in the second players
right.
meeting day 2, and I go, "Wait, huh?"
Right. No, I would. Sadly enough, as it just because like I said, normally I'm a head just at a lot of events, but this one
Hmm.
I get to lay back, get be a little more chilling. Just knowing I have Chaz to back up with is a lot relaxing for me at least.
Yeah,
So I don't ask too many questions. I like because I'm not making no decision. That's Chaz's job. That's not my job anymore. So.
that's right. I just have to know the rules of this
Right,
game.
right, exactly. When they say, I need to be there. Like, what can I help you with? So yeah, so you would play Tevin, yeah, because he was the 7th seed on day 2.
Hell yeah, okay, yeah.
So I mean,
I didn't even see what I didn't even look. If you have that, yeah, let me
yeah,
see.
it's on the screen, right? So if you look at the what I have on the screen right now, that's the bracket I actually wrote out. So the red numbers are day 2, and the black numbers are day 1.
Okay,
So you see, so
yeah, there it goes. Yeah, so I would have played Tevin,
uh,
and then
you would
the
got
winner
of the
the
4
winner
5
of our game would have played the winner of
4.
Bert versus Vern.
No, it would have been a 4 and 5 game, right?
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
so
You're
it
right.
would have
You're right.
been it would have been Miss against Vern.
Okay.
So it would have been 2 cents of 6 against each other.
Oh, I like that bracket too.
Right,
Actually, that
right.
doesn't seem
Well,
so bad
so
either.
so I guess a good thing for you. I mean, you took a break, but I mean, looking at the top 16, I know we skipping day 2, but we coming back to that. But looking
Yeah.
at this, I mean, you got to play a lot of MC that were probably prevalent when you was around.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so I
Because
think
I won a regional Sin 6. I
right,
know super well
right,
how to play that, and
right.
I've outside. I don't know. Like I probably top 5 played the most games with Death and out of anyone in this game. Probably
Okay.
I've played a lot of games with
So,
Death.
so
So
I have played quite a few. Like I said, I played a lot. My son liked Death.
yeah,
So I built decks for him, and I had played Def like I said as well. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned, but I don't want to take nothing away from PCA Tevin. But it's my concept they kind of went off of. Like here go
right.
Def with it. We had the basic, but they usually do more like the intense testing because I just do the basic. Like at the beginning of Curzon, I made a WandaVision, I made a Def. I'm like I'm not making no more decks. This is
Sure.
it. And then I help y'all test with these, and then Earl made some decks. So I'm like, okay, Earl, give me your decks you test with. Give me your molecule man, your thick kingpin picks, your thick kingpin, and give me your Dumamu. That were the 3 I got from him, and I kind of modify, and then I test with those.
Mm.
But
Yeah, but yeah, because Death is actually I'm kind of in the same boat. Like Death is my dad's favorite MC in the game,
okay,
so I've played against it a lot and I've built it a lot. So
right,
yeah,
right. So but yeah, like I just wanted to bring out. Yeah, I mean, I talked to Chad about that, but Chad just think this is still the best way. He don't really see no advantage. I mean,
it makes
yeah,
sense. I guess in a
right,
perfect world, there's no like,
right.
but I don't know.
I I I just
I'm
feel
not an expert,
I,
so
I just feel if you were really really like super like high level player, you could drop day 1 and seat yourself where you want to be day 2
yeah,
because you
so
have to.
that's exactly right. Now
Ha,
here's an interesting way. And
right.
I'm trying to remember which game does this. There is a game that does this.
Okay.
That you get to. It's a 2-day event of Swiss.
Right.
And even though you don't need 2 days of Swiss, it would be like mashing day 1 and day 2 together,
Right.
and you can change decks from day 1 to day 2.
Okay.
That would be
Right.
interesting.
Right.
Uh, and then if you wanted to expand on that, so like day 2, you could play the same person in Swiss again that
Right.
you've already played technically in day 1 of Swiss, but it like lets you evolve,
Okay.
right? And then on top of that, when you go to top cuts, if it's 8 or 16 or whatever, you could actually do conquest style, which I don't know if you are familiar with like old competitive Hearthstone. Old competitive Hearthstone, you would bring like 5 decks or something crazy,
Okay.
and like each person would ban 2 decks,
Okay.
and then you would play, and you would have to win with all of your decks.
Okay.
So like if they had so like 2 decks would be 2 out of 3 still, but you would have to win with both of your decks
Okay.
instead of just one. That would be interesting. That would be
Right.
really interesting also for Incursion
Right.
because there are so many just like super lopsided matchups in Incursion. I feel like so.
So I mean, so I'm gonna go ahead and give my opinion. I'm not gonna put you on the spot and not put myself on the spot. So
Sure.
I think the only way I would think would be the best way if I had a magic wand, I would like okay, whoever the one seed on day one, they get to pick their opponent and then do
Oh,
the
okay.
bracket like that. So then everybody will still be the same seed except the one seed picking their opponent. Then the day two one seed who will be the two seed would pick their opponent. And I mean that's still it's still a little bit of advantage, but I mean at least the day one person because I mean I feel like the day one person get the short end of the stick. The day one seat one.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
Like, the day one seed 8 is the roughest one, right? Or seed 7 and 8. Like, because now
yeah
you don't have initiative over
right.
like almost everybody, and you went in with less information. So
But I guess if you look at like a natural back, I'm thinking like if you 7 or 8, you're not expected to win. You know, against the one seat because you know
sure,
you lost to that one seat already, or at least you didn't have a good as record at that one seat. But I
yeah,
guess I mean like I said, there's so many variables. It's just so I mean I don't think there's no right way. But it just feel like the way we doing right now, it may not be like one of the best ways. But
right.
it's
I couldn't tell you like the perfect
right,
solution because actually, honestly, I don't think there is necessarily a perfect solution. I think there's a lot of interesting ways you could handle this. I don't think that the way we are
right,
doing it now is the best way. I
right, yeah,
think I agree with that.
right. All right, so enough of that. Let's move. Let's go to your deck list first.
Okay.
So like I said, I have seen something this similar. So Earl in Ohio ran a deck list similar to this, and I test with him a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
the Ohio incursion, he had the Kingpin with the Beyonder, except he was doing more of the dupe loop. and,
Oh,
and
okay.
and then there were more defensive cards at that point. So like he would think about playing something else. I'm like, I told him, well, apparently I was clearly wrong. I'm like, look, if you don't play Kingpin now, this Ohio incursion, when you gonna play him? Because you're gonna lose Wash, you're gonna lose some of this other stuff. He like,
Right.
man, you're right. Apparently I was wrong because you can still play him apparently. But now if I would say that to you, it would have been accurate because you finished the job for us and not getting.
Right.
But when I told him, I like, because when we play him, what we ran into like a Kingpin get hit hard. But like I said, what y'all did with the deck, I mean, because you said Bert, what this Bert the main engine behind this deck, correct? Like he
Oh,
was
absolutely, absolutely.
okay,
Bert built the original Well, I mean, I guess I built the
right,
original
right,
version,
right,
right? But, like of this version of the deck,
right,
he built the original version, and he played against me a few times. And like that's one of the reasons I landed on this list for day two was because I was like, all right, well, the Kingpin deck, I know how to play it
right,
to an extent. I had never piloted the deck myself, but I
right,
understand like some of Kingpin's lines. Like,
right.
and at the end of the day, he's just trying to gain lives, right? And
Yes,
then
yes,
I was like, well, it beat the snot out of me enough. It has to be good. I could probably pilot it. It's probably fine. I'll just play this. And then I changed like 10 cards in it. The schools weren't in there. The
okay.
kitties weren't in there. And something else got changed around. I think I tweaked a couple other
So
numbers,
so
but
so the real question I know, like I said when we tested her, how do you think real harder beyond the deck or this kind of beyond the deck that Bert had the the support characters in the beyond the pal?
I changed one card from the Beyonder pile, and that was I put Foom in there
Okay,
to win back the board state if I ran into that. Foom was actually very good
okay,
on during Swiss. It really didn't come up during the
right,
top cuts
okay,
though. But the other four are like kind of like super necessary and super
right,
locked in. Like Mordo, right? Kobik to turn
yeah.
off plot twist. It was Wrecker, which
So
is a win condition, and then Kingpin, which is a
so
win condition,
so
right?
I think like I said when we were working with we went with Carly over Corbett.
Orly, which one's that?
The fourth drop villain where she's got the super soldier serum, so she got combat master and tough.
Oh, okay.
So
What were you guys doing against Out of Time?
you talking about it? The Beyond got hit with out of time from the Kingpin.
Yeah, because you just lose.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, we didn't think, like I said it wasn't my deck like I said, but yeah that wasn't one of the thing on our agenda. We just
Right.
it feel like in current like that, it's just something like you just
Out of Time's one of my favorite
right.
cards. Like I
Okay.
was like sleeving it up, and like I sleeve it up in like almost every deck.
Right. No, I do see
So
that in every deck. Like when I have to go, well, how you got out of time in every deck? You ain't got like 3 characters on team.
I'll make it work.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. I'll make it work.
But like, because that's one thing like we would run into. Like that would be one of my outs against this deck when we played the times that we did play.
Right.
It was most of the time it was beat the snot out of me because you learn the lines, right? Because he would be turning into Kobik,
Right.
and then but like if he like just promoted, like if I had him against the wall and he would just promote, and I would just go Tiger Shark out of time, like the game's over, right?
Right. Because
So
you don't get to come back at main, and now you without a main.
exactly.
Right. Okay, let's run through around. I know I haven't been keeping track of time, but somebody probably is listening. Who cares? Okay, so let me bring up the rounds. The round.
Okay.
So we kind of go through this fast. If you want to talk about them, that's cool. So round one looked like you played Mike Mulhauser and lost that.
Yeah, actually, it's super funny. So this is my second game ever playing. So I sleeved up the deck. C-Stack says it
Yeah,
mysterious, the strongest cereal.
I was just about to say something, but you was talking. I was gonna wait, but go ahead.
He is correct on that. So this matchup was the second time ever playing the deck. It does what it's supposed to do. I play. Um, I just didn't play around all of the outs of the Beyonder, and I went Kobik first because my brain was like, oh, I gotta go Kobik because of Masters of Evil, blah blah blah. And he played like Jean Grey and just like took my
Okay,
Beyonder,
right.
and so I lost that. Ironically enough, that was like the best thing that happened to me all weekend.
Okay,
Which we can we can get into later. But like losing this game against Mike was like the best thing that happened to me all weekend.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Mike.
well, the best thing in versus
Right,
that
yeah,
happened to
right.
me all weekend.
Yeah. Well, like it's of course winning, and we don't know what you did after the party. We don't know how many strip clubs you hit, so that's what's up. But let's move on to round two. So let's see. You had Scott Connolly, so he another one who had the death deck.
Yes, and this game was like really quick because I played some idiot on turn 2, and then I played a Cosmo and
Okay.
on turn 3, and then like I dealt a couple wounds, and then turn 4 I like played Destiny and named Cosmo to hit another Cosmo, and I dealt the rest of the wounds.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
it
know
was
Scott.
just in and out real quick.
Yeah, I know there were 3 death decks. And I know Scott had a, but they all the Buckeyes besides Chris they ran that death deck very high. There's a tear came from my eye. That the judge you couldn't see it, but there was like one tear came from my eye. Like they do care about me. But all right, moving on. Round 3, we had you at Anthony.
Anthony was on Loyal Bullseye.
Okay.
Which was like actually it was a pretty quick deck. Like he was
Right.
pretty aggressive. But I mean I just gained so many lives,
Right.
and the combat tricks and stuff of being mono like just don't matter to me.
Right.
I play Beyonder here, and I go into Mordo first
Okay.
because he had like Mimic out, and like Bullseye could technically like stun the Beyonder with his power. I
Right.
think I didn't want to like figure that out, so I was like, all right, let's just nip this in the bud. So I did that.
The judge appreciate that thought process.
I'm like, I'm not even gonna worry about this. So I went into Mordo first, and then I went into. I can't remember if I don't think I promoted actually at all this game because
Okay.
I went Mordo into Wrecker, wreck the deck, wreck the hand.
Okay, before we go further, I know what you're talking about when you say promoter, but maybe there's somebody out there listening who don't understand that concept with the Beyonder.
Oh, sure, yeah. So one of the characters is in the Beyonders pile is the Kingpin supporting character, who is pay a green if you control 2 other underworld characters. Kingpin would becomes your main character. So for the price of a green, and if you have Shickle out, because then you would have Shickle and Kingpin as your 2 underworld characters, then the Beyonder could become your main character.
Okay, so Yeah, just one. I know we're gonna be talking about that a few more times. So like, let's just make sure somebody listen who may be newer to verse and may not understand because they're not many other things that promote like that.
Sure, yeah.
Except if you're playing Professor X.
Yeah.
All right, round four. Hey, yeah,
Four?
Jose.
Jose, yeah. This was a really favorite on my side because he was not playing out of time,
Right,
and Molecule Man in general is just kind of a slower deck. It takes a few turns to get set up, so that kind of just gains me some lives there on its own. So I got into Beyonder. I went into Mordo because the only thing Molecule Man cares about is superpower. So like it turns off half his deck. Um, Go into Wrecker, smack the deck, smack the hand, um, and then he conceded after that. So
okay. All right, round five. We have you playing Diego.
yes, Diego was on the Wrestlers. I believe he was on Danielson. Yeah, he was on
Yeah,
Danielson. It was pretty close because he's so fast, but
right,
I have so much life gain. And like the weakness of the Wrestlers is that they don't have answers to just beyond or promote.
right,
So I just did that. And another quick thing on the promotion thing is that the Kingpin support character says that he becomes your main character, and your main character becomes a supporting character.
right.
So if you do happen to go to time, only the wounds on Beyonder matter. The wounds on Kingpin would no longer matter because he is a supporting character, not a main character.
Well, I think so. So first of all, I want to say what's up, Vern.
What's
So,
up, Vern?
so I think that partially correct. I think if Kingpin get KO'd, he still his wound would then count as get KO'd because he get removed from game as because main character can never be in a KO pile. He would
But
he
he would not be a main character; he'd be a supporting character. So he would actually hit the graveyard.
okay.
I believe.
Okay, like I said, luckily we didn't have to worry about that, but that
Yeah. I again like these
right,
weird
right,
weird judge calls. I
right.
avoided at all costs anyway. So
Right. Okay. Because I'm like, I don't know because he's still because the main always it's just a main even if you go from like the top of the deck and get it don't go to KO like if like the analysis if it was in your deck and got discarded it go to the remove from game pile. So
right.
I don't but yeah we don't have to worry about that. But
Yeah,
you know
it never came up.
right.
So
All right, and then the last round you have Vern
I
again.
believe Vern.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of Vern, what's up,
Vern's
Vern?
just in time to relive this. Uh, Man, this was a tight game. This was actually super tight. He came in hot. I had a lot of heals, but there was a turn, and like he used a lot of resources early, and I had to use a lot of stuff to try to like just spin my wheels and stay alive and keep leveling. And there was a turn where I'm still level 2. I'm 1 XP away from leveling. And I'm like, I couldn't find the out of time. I couldn't find the hide. But I just found a couple characters. It was Nighthawk and some other idiot. I'm not sure. But he had only his main character in play. And I'm like, well, I can't heal myself, quote unquote. I can't go out of time. I can't
Right.
hide. I can't do any of that. So I just have to throw these guys up front and hope. And Fern had no cards in hand. Or he had 1 card in hand. I apologize. And then he drew his 2, and he like does this sigh, and I was like, "Oh my god, I think I'm alive." And then he like plays 1 supporting character for that turn, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm alive. That's amazing." And so I like leveled up and went into Beyonder, into I think the first thing I did was did Kobik. I might have promoted first actually because I might have been on lethal. I
Right.
like promoted and then I went into Kobik. The Kobik was pretty funny because like he tried to team attack
Oh.
and I was like, you can't team attack. And he's like, oh yeah. And then so like he made like a solo attack into Kingpin and then like try to like play like Fierce Pierce. I was like, you also can't do that. He's like, okay. But like it's like beyond promoted at that point. It was just kind of like more going through the motions. We were just having fun, but it was just really
Right.
funny little thing. It was like everyone forgets Kobik, right? Like
Right. Yeah. Right.
especially when it's an infinite Kobik,
Right.
like tucked underneath this
Right.
Beyonder. But it was just a really funny. We laughed about it. So
Yeah, he said so freaking frustrating. Yeah, I could bet. So you finished in second. We kind of talked about that. So
yeah, so Sax and I ended up both X
right,
one.
right,
His loss was later in the rounds. Mine was round one,
right.
which turned out that like again that was the best thing versus wise that happened to me was losing round one because that made me
Right.
second seed, which means that I did not play the loyalty deck round one of Top
Okay.
Cuts.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So if that makes sense. So
It was funny
yeah.
because I actually played against Luke Cage and I didn't know the list at all. I just was like looking at it on our way back. We were like, "Oh, we're gonna go out to eat." Everyone made Top Cut. Let's go out to eat, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm playing the Stand Together deck. That kind of sucks."
Mhm.
And someone can't remember who said it. Someone was like, "Luke Cage wasn't loyal," and I go, "That doesn't sound right." Luke Cage is always loyal. They're like, no, I'm pretty sure it was sent. And I was like, oh, well, who knows what's in that deck then?
Right.
I'm like, and then like we're on our way to get food, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to test that matchup because I don't want to try to figure out what's in that list. So I'm just going to just hope that I'm good enough. And then I got food poisoning that night. So
Oh.
I was sick the next day. Like that meal was the last meal I ate until like Monday afternoon.
Man. All right. So two in between questions.
Okay.
So my first question: any thought about no side events for versus this year?
Yeah, that sucks, man. That
So
sucks.
So because I want to say, I remember my first year working with Upper Deck, the best thing I ever saw at a side event, and I'm surprised nobody have done it again. Having a caddy for your versus game. I don't hear nobody talking about that, but
Oh my
I want to bring that
gosh.
like
What a throwback. Yeah.
having a
That was
versus
like
game.
the beginning of our channel too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's so funny.
I
Yeah. So anyone who doesn't know what that is, Vito and I did a prediction video. It was the year of Kingpin, so it was the third Gen Con. And it was like we went through at that time every team affiliation. Which I would never do again at this point because it's too many. But at that point, it was a little bit more reasonable, and we picked our top main character and our top supporting character for each, and we like would take turns of who would go first, and like however many were in the top eight, however many copies were in top eight, you would get a certain amount of points or something like that. I can't remember exactly, and I edged it out by like 3 or 4 points or something. It was very tight actually. And the thing that was on the line is somebody had to be somebody else's deck caddy for the entire like day or something like that of like one of the side event days. And so like I remember playing Bert because that was the first year Bert traveled with us, and I was like, all right, shuffle my deck, or I'd be like, and like Bert would be like, going to put some counters. Like, oh, don't worry about it, my caddy will get those. Putting the counters out for people. That was a very fun memory.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm surprised nobody have done that. I mean, that was somehow like, man, why wouldn't more people do that? Why wouldn't somebody want a caddy?
It's such a like it's a fun thing
Right.
that like especially if like you are a content creator in any game or any space,
Yeah.
right? It's something that like catches people's eye, and they're like,
Yeah.
why are these guys doing that? And then they're like, oh, they're content creators. They did a video, like, and then they're like, oh, I should check that out, right? So like, it was fun on multiple levels. Like, it was a
Right.
cool video idea. Me and Vito got to mess with each other, and it was like free like publicity for our channel.
Right, you know.
So
Yeah, I definitely remember that. Like I said, that was my first year. Like, oh man, I need to get one of those. I may have another kid. I may have another kid just for that reason.
I need one of those.
Right. Okay, So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to bring up in between going to the final question is how do you feel about not seeing a deck list between rounds? Because normally they put out the deck list if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they used to put them out.
Right.
Honestly,
I
I don't
get.
know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of fine with it
Yeah.
more this year than any other year
Right.
because I was like, I didn't really want to test anyway,
Well,
so
I,
I was like,
I
well, then nobody's getting an advantage here.
right.
I got food poisoning, so even if I wanted to test, I wasn't going to be able to. But on the other half of it, like, uh, Bert was like, oh, I would like to test my matchup a few times. And so, like, we just had to, like, he played against Ryan Mulholland round one, and we're like, well,
Right.
we knew he was playing Venom, and we knew he had the family in it. So, like, all right, let's just build what we think would be the best
Right.
family version of this deck. And we were, like, 10 cards off of his list,
So
I think.
so I guess I mean if you look at it from that, do that also give like the day one people just a tad bit more advantage? Because usually, if you playing, if you a day two person, obviously you don't know you're a day two person on day one, yeah. But when you play, you really can't focus on somebody like Deckless and stuff. Where if you won day one and standing like Patrick, he was at the tournament all day two,
Yeah.
so he could actively like hone in on like key pieces of people card. Actually, he can see people's hands.
No, yeah, absolutely. So I
So
guess that is an advantage for day one, so that's pretty good.
right, I guess you know that I think for that reason I like not showing the deck list, but it's just like because Eric Chad like, do you want to go put the deck list out? Like, no, we're not doing that. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
Actually, like, now that you bring that up, that's pretty fair. And that's a
right,
good argument for, like, being day one is that you can info gather if you choose to.
right,
Because I can look at someone's deck. If I play them, I'm probably know, like, 50 cards out of your deck, right?
right.
And then, like, if I play you or if I watch you, I might learn those other 10 cards.
Because like I said,
So
yeah, because like I
that's a
said,
good point.
and like I said,
That's a
because
good point.
Patrick was like I said, Patrick he was a one seed, so he could kind of see like, okay, round six, let me sit around table 4 and 5.
Sure.
I, if I want to prepare for my first matchup, so I think from that perspective, that does give day one. I mean, that give them a little more. That kind of balance it out a little more.
I think I like that then. Now that you mention that, you bring up
Right,
that point. I think I like that more because, like, when we talked earlier, it's like all these
right,
things were advantage for day two.
right,
But now this information game swings it a little bit back in the favor of day one because they can actually more accurately test and figure out what they have to play against, right?
right. Maybe Chad's just so good with thinking to that why he the head man and I'm just the minion. But I was like, man, that, and I just thought about this at this moment.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So okay, so well, I'm glad I brought that question up and we brought that to light. So now let's go ahead to the top 8 or 16.
Okay,
Top
16,
16.
yeah.
Yeah. So you had Team Apex Jamal with like I said the original Luke Cage.
The original Luke Cage, non-mono. Let me see here. What was all in this list? It was like actually there were a lot of answers in this list.
So
if I don't immediately promote, he had like Zorn. He had I think he had Baby Girl in there.
Okay.
And then I think he had something else that could like get rid of Beyonder.
So here go a question. Because I never been in the top 8 where I got to look at deck lists. Like I said, a few tournaments I play, I think I just missed. But when you look at somebody's deck list, what are you looking for? Because
It depends. It depends on your deck,
okay.
right? It depends on the matchup. I personally, when this was like, okay, what can you do to kick out? I have a problem. Do you have any answers to this problem?
Okay.
If you do, then I know how to play around those. If you don't, then I know I can just willy-nilly just get in there however I want. So that's what I would look for. If you're, but it is very largely dependent on the matchup or,
Right.
like if you're an aggro deck and you're going against like a dirtly deck like mine, you're like, okay, how can I stop you from gaining lives?
So
right? Like,
so C-Stack want to point out, do people know who Baby Girl is? So I guess we had to.
sorry, Bert has burned
Right.
that in my brain. Like that is what that is called
Right.
in our group. Omega Jean Grey. is baby girl. So that is one of the premier mutants.
Right, yeah.
It's not. It's in my opinion, it's not the best Omega. The best Omega is Exodus, but that's a whole other discussion for another time. It's my favorite Omega, but and I think you can argue Storm's pretty good too. I guess.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Well, besides the only Monarch, the only Omega that incurred. I'm surprised Jean Grey had not been incurred.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Like
Right.
that's a pretty strong support character.
Okay. So let's go ahead with your game. Sorry about jumping in, but go right ahead.
Absolutely. So game one, I made an oopsie poopsie. Again, I had been sick for 2 days, and I wasn't
We all
quite
still
in.
talking about cars, right?
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about cars. We made a play mistake and oopsie poopsie. Uh, uh, I paid all my basic greens throughout the game, so I actually couldn't promote Beyonder game one.
Okay.
So I after I did it, I was like, oh crap, I'm bad at this game. That's okay. I'll figure it out. That's just what you do, right? I'm like, well, I gotta play fast in case I lose this, because I messed up. So I had to hedge my bets. I'm like, all right, well, if he doesn't have the answer in his hand, I'll just go wreck his deck, and then wreck his row, and then I'll finish the game just the old-fashioned way, right? And it was enough. He didn't have it in his hand the turn I played Beyonder, so I just hit the deck, and that was that.
So you didn't go for the roll first. You went for the deck first.
No, because the row would replace itself.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Always,
Okay.
always go,
Oh, yeah.
always
Oh,
go
yeah.
deck,
Okay,
and
I
then
put-
go. It depends on the matchup. Actually, I think against that one I did go row because
Okay.
he had
Okay.
I can't remember honestly. It's been a while, but
Okay.
if they have like superpowers on
Right.
board, I go for a row because they can't recruit anyway.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I don't get to play record much, but I still gotta ask these questions. So just
Absolutely,
gotta,
that's such a cool card too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Putting it like an isosphere on it or something. I mean, or just hitting it for infinite. That's also okay, I guess.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
and then game two, I played a little bit more skillfully. I was a little bit more awake. The medicines were kicking in, so I did not use all my greens like an adult. And so I go Beyonder, Shikla on the same turn, promote, and that was it. We went through the motions, because I mean, you never tap out, right? Especially in the fine or in top cuts.
Right. No, you don't. Right.
He was already down a game, so I was like, okay, I respect that, and he made me kill him. But
Right.
After you promote, he didn't have any. There were no
Right.
answers in his list. So
Right. No. You definitely gotta play that out because somebody come like, man, you had this card on the deck, that would just demoralize you. So yeah, you just play
right.
it out. In the top cut. So then you play the winner of Bert and Ryan. That was an interesting game.
No, yeah, that was a whole thing.
I mean that whole timing rule. Like I said, I didn't realize how timing worked until he explained what makes sense.
So I do want to talk about this a little bit because I talked about it on the New York Minute, but all my audio got cut.
Right.
This caught me off guard, but when I stopped and thought about it, it made sense.
I'm in 1,000% the same boat as the judge because I didn't. With Chad being there, I don't have to get all the detail from him because I know he will cover anything. But I'm thinking Ryan got the lead in game two, so that means he win game two. We'll go, but I'll let you go ahead and explain it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is how I thought. This is how they thought it was working, and they thought that since Ryan was ahead on game two, that they would be Ryan wins game two, and they would have to go to game three, sudden death, which actually is favored for Bert anyway because he just opens up Electro, pays the blue, and wins the game because it's first blood. But regardless, that's not how it works. It's completed games. It's not you don't decide a winner of a non-completed game.
Right, because there are no tie to break. Since Bert up 1-0, there is no tie to break in games since that's the first thing you check.
And then, but I've started playing Pokemon competitively. I played a lot of Magic competitively, these actual 2 out of 3 games.
Right.
And that's how it works in any other game.
I didn't know
So
that.
like
Okay.
we're just so like best of one like pilled and like just like that's what we're so used to that a lot of people missed that. And it
Yeah.
makes sense when you're in that
No.
headspace of best of one, we have to have a winner. How do you
Right.
decide the winner? It's wounds.
Right.
But in every other best of three, non-completed games don't count for anything.
Right.
So, um,
And like the football players who don't know the overtime rules, like we could tie,
exactly,
and that is their job.
exactly.
That's their
Uh,
full time job. Like, dude, you don't know that? You don't look over your handbook?
yeah. So, so then now here I am. I'm posted up against Bert. Um, I hate playing Bert, man. I hate playing Bert. I love playing Bert. Bert's like one of my favorite people on this planet, right? Like, but man, like because I know that Bert Richardson is like one of the most hungry people in this game. Is like he's probably as hungry as I am for this, right? It's like, man, I want to win,
So,
like
so,
the Gen Con, right?
so I mean, is Bert sometimes similar to like Tevin is for us, like the slingshot for y'all? Because I know, like, say you had beat him a lot of times going on, or somebody. Do he lose to his teammates a lot, Bert, or do he?
It depends.
Okay,
Like
I know.
he took Oklahoma from me.
Right, yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah, that.
I was kind of upset about that because
Right.
that took away my second hand for regionals, so I'm still on
Okay.
one hand.
Okay.
But uh, but that was one of those things. He was
Right.
not going to lose that day.
Right.
He was so hungry,
Yeah. No.
and he is so
Yeah.
good at this game.
No.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty favored in this
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah.
And actually, we made some changes from day one to day two on his list. We added Ronin and we added something else to go with. I think it was Thanos.
Okay.
Uh, so that Ronin almost killed me.
Okay.
And I told the story on the New York Minute, but it all got cut. So when Bert and I play, like we'll play our like webcam games, when you're top decking stuff, it's either it was always there, or if I'm top decking stuff, it was like I'm so talented. We're so talented at this game, right?
Right.
Like that's how you know you're talented. You just draw the cards you need, right? And so like that's like an inside joke with us. And so like at one point he like had me with no hand, and I'm like on lethal, and I had to show Bert how talented I was at this game, right? I
Yep.
like had a Tiger Shark in play. I draw 2 out of times as my first draw. I out of time. So blah blah blah. Tiger Shark dies. My next draw is Mysterio and Starhawk.
Mm.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I just play these and out of time again, and like start drawing my whole deck now that the Starhawk's out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was, and like I had so much plot armor in that matchup, it was insane. But yeah, I just unfortunately I'm very talented at drawing the cards that I need, I guess.
And that when he realized you were the main character of this event.
Right. But like we had this conversation beforehand, and we had it afterwards too. It's like, man, there's no. It sucks that we have to play, but there's like nobody I would be more okay losing and getting knocked out by than Bert.
Okay.
And I feel like he felt the same way about me. It's like he at least like, and I think it also helped him that is like I finished the job, right? Like, which is huge. So
Right. No, absolutely.
yeah, it was bittersweet because like man, Bert's hungry, and he's like one of my favorite people. I hate playing Bert because there's no good outcome.
Talking about somebody who don't take breaks.
Correct.
He always looking for a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So absolutely, no. I have played him a few times. Like I'd be bored, like, oh look, Bert looking for a game. I guess I'll play some verses today then.
So I'm trying to get him on that Pokemon grind with me.
So my pop, like, so the wife got hooked on the Neopets.
Oh, did she?
She didn't know she enjoyed open packs of cards until we got to Gen Con this year, and then we ended up with 10 boxes of Neopets.
Oh no.
Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even try it, honestly. Like,
It's
it looked interesting. People looked like they were having fun. There's just so much dice rolling that I don't
yeah.
know if I could get past that.
I feel like it's a good balance. Like I said, obviously I played a few games with the wife, like with constructed decks, and I think you could definitely make your deck do a lot of work.
Yeah.
So there's a few features that you can make the deck do the work, but yeah, definitely dice roll. I mean, even like, so did you hear that the winner of the Neopet event was a husband and wife playing the same deck?
Oh, really?
So they were the fifth and sixth seed in Swiss, but they were able to get to the finals against each other.
Nice. That's
So
exciting. That's awesome. Well, I have
right.
plenty of product now. Sure.
Right, yeah. Like I said, was like a some god awful amount of boxing for first, and then a little less god awful amount for second. And now you add them together.
Oh yeah.
So okay, but yeah, yeah. So like I said, yeah, you got Bert there. And Mitch took out the two Valkyries on his way to see you, with I'm pretty sure you glad about as well.
What?
I said Mitch took out the two Valkyries on his way to meet you.
Oh yes, yes. I was very thankful. Actually, that was one of the things I looked at. I like because I didn't want to like figure out the matchups or anything like
Right,
that, but I am interested in like who's playing who,
right,
and like I looked at the bracket and I was like trying to figure out okay who did I think was going to win which match,
right.
and I wasn't sure who was going to win between Bert and Ryan,
Okay,
but everything else, I think I got correct.
okay,
Actually, I also didn't. I didn't have it. I didn't have a guess for Casey and Vern's match
okay.
either. But I felt like Smallwood was very unfavored in his matchup.
Right,
I felt like there was a shot because if anyone can do it, like it's one of the big three.
right.
But I was like, man, he had it. I was like, you have an uphill battle. Good luck with
Yeah,
that. Because the thing that you want to do enables him. So,
right.
um, and then everyone else I had pretty pegged on who was going to win. I actually messaged Mitch that night, like on my way to dinner, because I was like, "Your bracket looks really good."
Right,
Because like I feel like the Sinister Six Valkyrie matchup, I feel like that's like a free match for
right,
Sinister Six, like
right,
next to free,
right,
because they're so all in on like killing you,
right.
and like
And,
Sinister Six makes you kill them
right,
six
right.
times, so.
Oh, you got that one. Like,
Oh, you got me. Anyway. So, yeah, so I played Mitch. Mitch was a very different Sinister. Well, I say very different. It
right,
was a fairly different Sinister Six matchup than Bert's Sinister Six matchup.
right,
They were both looking to do the same thing with Sandman,
right.
um, which is just the greatest. I love that. Uh, but Mitch was more aggro because he was like playing like the Great Teacher, which is an underplayed card. I
Right,
was super happy to see that in his list, and he was like playing the Angels and or the Zombie Angel and the Zombie Venom.
right,
Like he was still trying to bite people
right,
fast. Um, luckily, I had the Kitty Pride, the one drop that like lets you cancel combat.
yeah.
So I got to like 2-for-1 him on that because I was like, okay,
Oh,
Angel came in with the Great Teacher, and I like paid the blue.
right.
Um, and then the other big thing was sequencing your auto times in this
Yeah,
matchup
yes.
because you always use your hide effects first, just in case you ever get bit. You can auto time.
Right,
And then once you promote, this was another one of those matchups. As soon as I played the Beyonder, I could not lose anymore.
okay.
It wasn't necessarily even like a promote thing, because like I don't think he had, if I remember correctly, he didn't have a way to like get past Beyonder.
Okay.
Like there was no stealth in here. There was no like cancel flight or anything like that. So, like if I had to just play a flat Beyonder, like it would let me get through the turns to promote if I needed to.
Okay.
So, Sinister Six, I was pretty favored against
Well,
both builds. So, and then
we at the finals. So
we had PJ. Yeah.
So how do you feel going into the final? Let's first ask that question. So
Let me tell you a few things real quick, because this all got cut from New York Minute, and I went on not a rant, but a semi-rant about PJ and how like proud I was that he won the last regional and then followed up with a second place.
Right.
Because he mentioned something to me, and I it wasn't like the core of our conversation, but it was like a comment that he made during it was like, it sounded like some people like felt that him winning the event was a fluke,
Right.
and that he felt more justified that now that he like followed it up with a second, which is some bull crap. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Anybody like, yes, there's luck anytime you're going to win an event. That's part of the variance.
Yeah.
That's part of this game. You have to hedge your bets and like play your lines to make the luck work in your favor. You have to make your own luck. And if you discount somebody winning an event, that's just the worst thing you can do. That's such bullcrap.
Right.
And like he killed it. Like he made the right call in it was Ohio, right? He made the right call in Ohio. He played well, and he did it.
Well,
and nobody can take that away from him, and nobody can take that mat away from him. So,
right. and let's say, well, let's not go all the way where he played well. Like I said, he made his share of mistakes. But the good thing about PJ, he able to recover, and that's like, I mean, that's just something you can't teach.
Right.
Man, I mean, like,
so you do not take somebody's win away from them.
No, you definitely not. Right. Yeah, no, I don't know what it is.
And I don't know if he felt it as passionately as I did about it, because like I said, it was kind of like a comment like why we were just generally talking.
Right.
But it definitely rubbed me the wrong way, where I was like, that's the bull crap. You earned it. Yeah, don't even like.
And I test with PJ, and I like I said, we got a channel for the Buckeye where we testing, so I see how hard he goes at it. I mean, he didn't go as nearly as hard before Ohio Regional. Oh, he went hard at that. I mean, he Delaware. He went pretty hard at it. I mean, from where he came from, like I said, I had seen him when he first started playing. When I play him, like, oh, this is an easy win. I was just waiting for him to make the mistake, and I'll find my opening. But now it's like, okay, he's still making the mistakes, but he good enough to then cover it,
right?
Or make it like So no, he definitely
finds the lines to get himself back out of it, right?
And he don't get flustered.
Right.
I mean, you know how many people I had set with, and I mean, did you see how he react when he, try to play a 2-drop and only have one resource? It's like, oh,
yes,
yeah, it happens. Let's just keep going.
Anyway, moving on.
Most people don't act like that. Most people like, what the fuck, been cussing.
Yeah, that's the end of the game. This is just over, right? Yeah, and like it's super tilted off of that.
Right.
So.
But yeah, okay, but let's go ahead on.
So that was my little rant about like trying to like shadow ban people's glory.
Right.
Now I mentioned something earlier, and I think that this probably helped Tevin and PJ throughout the event. A lot of people Death is a complex character.
Yes.
There are probably a lot of mistakes happening, probably from both sides, honestly, but if you play Death a little bit, there's a lot more mistakes coming on the other side of the board than your side of the board, because it is such a complicated card. That is going to help you a lot in all your matchup.
Yes, I mean,
unfortunately, there were two things here. One, we look at each other's deck lists, and he goes, "Oh crap," and I go, "What's up?" And he goes, "Cosmo." I go, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." Yeah. And then secondly, I mentioned earlier, I'm probably games played with Death, probably the top 5 players. Like, I've played a lot of games against Death and with Death. So I understand some of these lines and some of the sequencing. And I feel like I played this pretty well in knowing those things.
Yeah, like I said, no, I definitely agree. Like I said, like I said, the hard thing for me to in this game, like, this is a deck I kind of helped build. And the same fine, like, man, if I was playing, could this have been me? Or at least can I at least been in the vicinity of the table, on the
Right.
final day, like
Would I've been in the discussion?
right.
Right? Yeah.
but he
Uh,
made some great changes to the deck that I didn't have. Like I said, he was able to see. But like I said, but yeah, I guess we could do a long recap, short recap, whatever you want to do for this.
I'll keep it kind of in the middle,
Okay.
honestly. So game one, I have a plan. I'm going first.
Right.
I want to hit him. I want to put him on the death side. I do not care about my board.
Okay.
I do not care about his board.
Okay.
If I can put him on death side, I'm good.
Right.
So that's what I do. I go turn one attack, hit him. He goes to death side. He plays the dagger. I'm like, the dagger does not affect my game plan in any way. I'm like, you can you watched this game.
Yeah.
That thing had like 50 counters on
Right.
it. I did not care. That was not part of my plan. My plan was to live.
Actually, he played a dagger twice. He played it the first time when he couldn't play it.
Oh, that's correct. That's right. Because he wanted to play it so bad. And it was right, because he wanted
Right.
it out. It's a very strong card in the matchup.
Yes.
Because he has to get that board. He has to put the
Right,
pressure on
yes.
me. And I was like, okay, cool. I kept him on that side. That thing had like I said, 50 counters
Right.
at least. At least it had so many counters. You had to get more dice.
Right.
I did not care about that thing. My plan going into this was keep him on the death side. I'm going to Cosmo his dagger when I'm ready, and I'm going to play this Beyonder, and I'm going to kill his board.
Right.
And then I'm going to hopefully have another Cosmo. I was lucky. I got to play the Valkyrie. I killed the Valkyrie so that it was kind of safe. I recovered. I used the Valkyrie's ability to play Cosmo to Cosmo the dagger. I played the Beyonder. I put infinite minus counters on all of his guys. I played another Cosmo to Cosmo his death. And I played a couple other just random things because it doesn't matter at that point. He has a clear board, and I just I did 6 or 7 wounds to him on that last turn. Then game 2 was a little different. He went first, so he was able to keep himself on the life side. He was trying to mill me out. I knew that this was going to be his plan because it's the smart plan. And the combo deck take away my pieces, right? He was able to get rid of my Beyonder pretty early.
Yes.
So I had to either hit Shikla or Valkyrie. I don't know if he noticed or not, or if he talked about this. I can't remember if he talked about this, but I was doing things like playing Destiny and naming cards that were not in my deck because I just was trying to get cards out of my hand. I was playing multiple out of times in a turn because I wanted to get rid of cards out of my hand. I understand how this matchup works, and I know that I have to hedge these few cards that I can, because the last turn of the game I have 3 cards left in my deck, and I finally hit my Valkyrie and I play it and I hide her away. And then he follows it up with a mind game, and I discard my hand. I have 3 cards left to play the entire game, but I have the Valkyrie. So, it was that close that if I don't play those extra few cards, I'm going to draw those 3 cards earlier. He's going to discard them.
And I think both games, at least one point before you either go to level 3 or whatnot, he had you on the fatal wound with a negative zone face up.
Yes. Yes, and then he mind games, and he stuck to his plan, which I respect. He stuck to his plan. He mind games me, but I would have mind games myself to try to find the Earth there.
And plus he had death on the light side with a with an echo, also copying that. So that was 2 extra drawings. I thought that'd be kind of like say if you see the Earth, you win that game.
Yes.
All you need, because he got the 2 next zone out pretty early.
Yeah.
He just needed to see it, but as soon as you promote it, it was like, yep, somebody get some shine on that belt real quick. We about to get ready to take pictures.
And because again, he was the same way with the list where there was no actual answer to a promoted Beyonder. So
but yeah, so the champion with Kingpin, first of all, being a champion at Gen Con, I'm pretty sure that is pretty high up on your
it was the only. I have chased that for so long That was my 5th top finish
Okay.
at Gen Con. I've won 5 regionals. Winning Gen Con is the only thing that I have not done in this game, and it felt so good.
And then to win it with the Kingpin.
Yeah, that was kind of like full circle, right?
Right.
Like that was the first deck that like I stood out with because like nobody remembers year 1 when I played Thanos the top 8.
Right.
Like if you could probably find the archive somewhere. There's a list of an X-Men Thanos deck. That was just drawing all the cards just so that they could find their gauntlets, right? But like Kingpin's the first thing that people remember, and it was like the first thing like after we started the channel, and so yeah, that was kind of cool. Like that, it kind of went full circle with that.
So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, like So I'm trying to think if there anything else I have to ask, bring up, because like I said, I mean, we can keep talking all night. You know, I had nowhere to be, but I'm pretty sure people will keep listening. So first of all, what's your plan with Versus going forward? I guess that where we have to start.
The break was really nice. I guess I'm gonna just kind of feel it out and see what happens.
Right.
I think everyone's kind of just waiting. It felt weird this year. So I think everyone's kind of in a wait and see.
Right.
I don't think I see myself going to Florida or where's the other one at?
They didn't announce it.
No, they did not announce it.
I'm guessing it would be on the West Coast, but they haven't. Would it be West? Yeah, it's because Florida's the East this year.
Yeah.
And we had the South and the North, so we haven't had the West.
I don't foresee myself going to Florida. Right. Depends on where in the West.
Okay.
I do have a friend out west who now lives in the Portland area who I'm very overdue of visiting. So, now that he works at Wizards of the Coast, so I haven't gone to visit him yet. So
who could you be talking about? Well, we will talk about that some other time. But yeah. So what about the online scene? Do you plan on showing up anywhere online? I mean, there's still Buckeye League events.
There is still Buckeye League, and if you're not signed up for Buckeye League, then you probably should be. Am I going to be able to play League with the new set? I guess when it comes out.
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess this is a time for me to promote my league.
Absolutely.
So we had a Buckeye UDE League play. So if you buy any sets from the Upper Deck site, either a 200 card box or 255 card box, after August 1st, that where we at now, you just send me a picture of the receipt.
Okay.
And then you are in the league.
Okay.
And all you have to do is just report one game you played a month.
Okay.
And then we'll send you one card a month for up to 6 months, and then you get the play mat.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
because I didn't play any League at all because I had bought my stuff online and I was like I'm not gonna buy more just to play League. So if anyone has promos that they're trying to get rid of, holler at your boy because I don't have any of the new League promos.
So like I said, right now we limited to one person per sign up. One person per Discord account.
Okay.
But hypothetically speaking, Discord's accounts are free. So if you have a second person with a second Discord account,
there you go.
There you go. But and also we'll still have our Buckeye draft. So I may reach out to you for ranking on MC. You know we do that ranking video before each format.
Oh yeah.
And I would love to get you in one of those.
I love making content. And I love supporting people who make content. So. I'd absolutely do that, and if you ever want to do a Dex Built Quick League, maybe we can make that happen.
I mean, depending where this game goes, like I said, if we constantly have the formats, like I said, we probably, but if by some chance formats stop happening or something slowed down with Versus, I would love to go that route.
Oh yeah, and if you need formats, like let's say tomorrow, like the end of days happen, and Upper Deck's like, no, thank you, no more future formats, nothing. Good luck on your future endeavors. I could make some formats, so we could work on some stuff.
So my plan, I'm gonna tell you, like I said, if the end of days does come, Buckeye League plan on doing online play for at least 2 to 3 years at least.
Okay.
I plan on keeping that going. We may, because like I said, we could do the more fun formats. We could have more defined formats where we know all the rules. We don't have to wait from ruling from Upper Deck and stuff and
Right.
things like that. So we'll still have our yearly event, and we probably still do the draft format because, like I said, that kind of our trademark now. But
Yeah, absolutely.
like I said, if we could get a Bill Quick league, I would definitely, because I had another idea I really wanted to do. I haven't got around to it, but I want to do one called the Coastal League,
Okay.
where we basically take like the 16 worst one drops, like how we rate the 16 worst one drops,
Oh,
and
okay.
everybody draft cards, and it's just a single elimination tournament, and you build a
Yeah.
deck with the cards you draft. Like I said, we'll do the draft like through messages, so it won't be like a. So like I said, we'll send you the list, pick one, then we'll send it to the next person until everybody got a list of all the
Sure.
cards that not seeing play of like
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
of the support
The
characters.
lesser played cards, right? Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
card play that either getting oversight because they just not there, or because some cards that incursions haven't even seen yet.
Right.
like the X-Men Magic.
Also an underrated card in my opinion, but
So yeah, so I mean, Buckeye still, like I said, we still plan on keep going, but like I said, but we definitely getting another UDE feature format in October, so we will have a draft for that. So I think I'm gonna be reaching out to you to do a ranking for us, John. So like I said, it's gonna be me, you, Earl, and like I said, if you could get on the screen with us, that'd be awesome. But
yeah,
and,
we'll figure it out. I'd be down to do that.
and like I said, we usually
I
do
really hope the next format's Big Apple Battles too, because
yeah,
Big Apple Battles was the best format we've probably had. So.
number one. Ain't, is that the format you played in the Format Madness where we had that first tournament? You
It
came
might have been.
you came in second place in that event. You lost to Patrick in the finals.
I don't remember. It
Okay.
probably was because I love that
Yeah,
format
yeah.
and I love the Sinister Six. So
Right.
that was my God mode year. That was the year that I won both the regionals and
Right.
yeah,
So but I
that's crazy.
think we gotta get ready to wrap this up. Are we gonna be in Team Apex territory with
That's
Time
right.
Master? we don't want to take their thing away from them.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We the marathon streams for them.
and before I wrap up, are you doing any more YouTube videos and stuff, or I know your channel still exists because obviously you
Right.
just had a
Yes, the
really
channel still exists. I have a few things that I'm cooking. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do exactly. I have ideas, but I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go. It will no longer be versus content.
okay.
It's going to be either it might be just like general content or like general gaming content. I have a couple ideas, but I'm not sure which direction I want to take it yet.
Okay.
But I've definitely been missing doing content creation, so that is hopefully in the future. I'm just trying to figure out the finalize some directions and stuff.
No, absolutely. Like I said, breaks is just after you take a break, when you start doing this stuff again, kind of like re-energize you. Like I said, I don't think I did a stream in like 2 to 3 months, and I had done like what 3 in the last week. I did 2 recaps. Me and Rollin played games on stream. It's like, oh man, this is what this feels like again.
Yeah, this feels good.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, I'm glad you were glad to come out. Glad we were able to get your voice on here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me out, man.
Yeah, glad you the champion. I mean, I hate that you beat a Buckeye. I do have to say
Yeah.
that. Like, but
Uh,
if I had to pick a non-Buckeye, I would have. I
I'm
guess
glad. I'm glad to be the second choice,
right,
baby. I'm
right,
glad
right.
to be the second
I
choice.
mean, like I said, you definitely don't. You like I said, but like I said, you one of the better deck. But like I said, like I said, so obviously I look at a dot deck list. I don't look at it in depth, but I look at cards like, how do this even go together? Like, like there's a puzzle. Like, what these pieces even make? And then
Yeah.
you see it like, oh man, this is a masterpiece. It's like it's just. So no, I mean,
That's the best feeling is when someone
right.
can look at your pile of cards and go, "I don't understand why this. How are you winning with this
Yeah,
thing?"
and like I said, that's the type of style I like to play. Like I said, I mean, I don't know if you remember when I play regional, I play some of the off the wall MCs, and
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
no, I think we played very similar decks because I
right.
remember one year at Midwinter we played in a side event. You
Yeah.
played First Evil,
Oh, yeah.
and that was what I was playing for the main event.
Oh yeah. No, I think I remember that. Yeah, so yeah, I
Yep.
know we played a couple times. We haven't played much because, like I said, since I'm not on the tournament scene, but midwinter always my chance to get in. I mean, so I guess guy actually, what about midwinter? I'm pretty sure they still gonna have that regardless. Are you thinking about midwinter? That's
Uh I could be convinced.
okay.
Peter's a pretty cool guy.
Right,
I have fun up there, and like I like seeing everybody. And
right,
I do know that like Gen Con and Midwinter are those times where like you will get to see pretty much everybody.
right,
And like at this point, that's the only reason I like still engage with stuff is because I like the
right.
people,
No,
right?
yeah,
Like in my opinion, some people have let us down, who won't be said because that's rude. But
right.
uh, so I think, but like how much people care and love this game, despite uh, some of the stuff that has happened, it's like, and like how cool all the people are is just
All
you
right.
can't you can't deny that. So
Uh, so like I said, congratulations. So hopefully
thank you so much.
so either you'll be defending the title or you'll be the last one. You know, either one is still a great way to be, huh?
I'll take either, but
Right,
I'd
right.
rather defend
No,
this thing.
yeah, we would love to see you defend it. Of course, I would love to. I love to sit at the final table again with you and man, make them judgment calls and be man, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I definitely like this group of people. So like I said, thanks again. You did your promotion. Like I said, I got Buckeye League, their Discord stuff on Facebook, everywhere. Check. I mean, if you're on this YouTube channel, just keep checking it out. I mean,
keep
yeah,
watching this content.
keep watching. But yeah, we definitely gonna try to get you on here. Well, for the ranking thing, we'll try to grab you back up and we'll see what I take you. We'll try to keep you a little closer to the game this go around. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like all this extra stuff, like jumping on streams and stuff. Absolutely.
Okay.
Reach out. I'll if I'm free, I'll do it.
That's good to know. So you had just moved up my black book list. So all right. Well sign out. I don't have no cool sign out on anything. But we I had that little intro video Sean made for me. So
Right.
we'll
Absolutely. One last plug. Go check out the New York Minute.
oh yeah.
In my opinion, the best versus content for your buck. So
I got it number 2, but you know.
that's fair. That's fair.
All right, well, thanks for watching. If you haven't watched, thanks for watching in the future, in the past. I mean, if you knew this was coming, we got to hear John's voice. I mean, you know how much this cost me. The wife
Hey,
is
Wall,
not,
baby. Hey, Wall.
the wife is not happy about the bugs. I'm like, I got John Phillips. She's like, I'm going to work. Just don't tell me the cost. Just make it happen. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks again, John, and have a good night.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me put it back on.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Oh, yeah.